Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Star Trek, the original series, Season 3, Episode 2. It is called The Enterprise Incident. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. Of course, we came out of the last episode, Spock's Brain, knowing that that had a reputation, knowing that this season in general has a reputation for being the worst of the three, that there's more bad episodes than there are good. Which does not make us excited for the rest of the season. However, I'm going to just open this by saying that episode 2 was pretty good.
I agree. I thought it was really solid.
Now, admittedly, this might be one of the higher points of the season, and it might mean we've got a nice big streak of shit after this, but I actually thought this was a pretty good episode. So
I agree. Nice palate cleanser after the first one.
Yep. So, you know, episode opens and Kirk's acting kind of out of character. He's been, and it's addressed like McCoy's medical log opens the episode, and he's like, I've been asking Captain Kirk for to address his behaviour, and I want to give him a scan, but he's refusing. He's refusing to get checked out, and Kirk's making all these bizarre orders, and he's like, "Hey, Sulu, change your vector to this." He's like, "But sir, that'll take us into the neutral zone." It's like, "I know where it takes us, Mr. Sulu. Follow the order." And he's been really snappy. Kind of like when he's in the past, he's been either ill or he's obsessed with something.
Yeah.
So we've had this kind of thing before. So I'm like, okay. And as the one thing I'll say is, it kept going on. I kind of knew there was going to be a twist. I'm like,
it was going too far with it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, okay, there's something going on here. This is all intended for some reason. And of course, we find out later on Spock's also in on it the whole time.
Of course he is. You always trust Spock. And
McCoy eventually gets brought in it as well. But so they go into the neutral zone and into Romulan territory, and then so some nice continuity mythology bits here where, it's Romulans, but their ships are very Klingon-like. They've got Klingon technology. They've got cloaking tech, and I'm like, this is we're building some because obviously Klingons having the cloaking tech's a big part of like Star Trek mythology that we always think about, and they're surrounded, they're captured. And basically, it's like, we'll have you, Kirk, beam aboard, and we'll discuss your mistake of entering here. And he lies, and he says, it was a malfunction. We didn't know where we were. We ended up here by accident, kind of thing. And the commander, who's female, like takes a liking to Spock. That's a big part of this episode. That she is like, he's got pointy ears, kind of like me.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And that's kind of a big part of the episode, is that. But they beam over. There's two Romulans are beaming back over, sort of as collateral for them going over there, and we kind of go for there. And we get this big scene where Kirk is like telling him, "No, it's a mistake, a malfunction," and he keeps like giving more lies and more reasons to why this is just an accident. And she's like, "Yeah, but if we accidentally stumbled into your territory, what would you do? Like, what would your procedure be?" And she tries to like, "Hey, you're Vulcan, Spock. You do not lie. You do not believe in lying. You're this."
And then he pleads the fifth, essentially.
Basically, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not lying, but withholding truth is not lying." And she's like, "Yeah, but there's a truth. There's something that I don't know."
He gives, I don't need to tell you something that's going to incriminate me. It's like, it's not going to look good, so I'm just not going to tell you.
But then eventually he kind of opens with it. Comes out with it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Kirk's been acting delusional. He's giving erratic orders," and like Kirk gets very angry as the Romulans drag him off and take him away. And there's a whole thing, and then after he's acting angry for a while, he starts acting catatonic, and they get they beam McCoy across, and clearly he actually tells McCoy the plan before like, other people come in, because then McCoy's in on it and like take him back over, because Spock ends up attacking him and like giving him the pinch, and then claims to the Romulans that was a death claw or something.
Yeah, I don't think he does tell McCoy then though, because McCoy says later that he didn't know that he was alive till he beamed back over.
I thought he said he didn't know until he beamed over to the Romulan ship. That's what I thought he said.
Okay. I thought McCoy just kind of went along with it, like, because I thought the insinuation was he didn't know until he came back, and then...
Yeah, but he's in the scene and he tells the Romulans he's dead. He checks them.
But, I guess he was dead just at a cursory glance. Because that's all he does. He just, check the pulse, yeah, alright, he's dead.
One of us misheard the line of dialogue. It doesn't really matter which one did, but because it doesn't really matter that much one way or the other.
By this point, McCoy's in on it.
Yeah, either he's in on it before this confrontation, or he's in on it after the confrontation.
I think it's interesting that the confrontation plays the same either way. Because one way, Kirk's been acting like this for long enough that it's believable that McCoy goes, yeah, all right, it's possible.
Yeah, because the whole thing, of course, is that this is meant to, in case something goes wrong, Starfleet doesn't want to be incriminated, but so the whole idea is that Kirk acts erratic so that it can be blamed on him as being like a rogue captain who's not following orders, therefore not starting a war, should this
Which
go.
the Romulans go along with. They go, all right, fine, it's your captain, you follow orders.
Yep.
So we're not going to blame you guys. You'll be escorted to safety.
Yep. And yeah, oh, I think what's interesting in that scene, though, I do kind of like when the commander implies that Spock's with the Romulans now. McCoy just says, "Nah, Spock's too loyal for that. He'd never do that." Like he says that or something to that effect in the scene. And I thought, oh, that's a nice bit again, character building. It feels like over the course of the seasons, like they've got a history now, and he wouldn't believe Spock would do this, and he hasn't. Of course, he hasn't. Whether or not he's saying that because he's just going along with it, the plan, or he's saying that because he believes that at the moment. But
either works.
It's
a real nice scene.
So yeah. So then the whole thing. So he beams Kirk back over, and then Kirk gets a makeup job, and Kirk has the Romulan pointy ears and the eyebrows going up, and it is surreal. It is so bizarre because this whole show he's been Kirk and Spock, and now Kirk's got the same makeup as Spock usually does.
Yeah, it was strange. I mean, it's not the only bit of role reversal in this episode because obviously Spock's the one doing the seducing.
Yeah, which was really cracking me up because I before we got the reveal that there was a plan and it was under Starfleet orders and this was all a ruse, I was actually, because like I said earlier on, it was kind of clear there was going to be a twist like that at some point. Like it just felt too straightforward, and the way Spock especially gave out the information felt too easy. It was like, this was the plan. He's making them think he's going along with them. He's getting, maybe it's not that they're trying to steal their cloak and tech, or maybe it's not like a Starfleet order, but for whatever reason, the plan involves Spock getting in close with the Romulans. But I was kind of laughing that because she ends up taking him back to their quarters, and she's like, "Oh, let me become less of a soldier and more of a woman." And she comes out in a dress, and they're sitting, and all I could think was, man, Spock's properly seducing her here. He's properly playing her along, and
he's full on just playing the Kirk for the episode.
He is, yeah. I mean, in a Spock fashion, but he's doing it.
It's in his way, but he's taking that role upon himself.
Yeah. So that actually makes it very fun. Like you say, role reversal. They're both doing the opposite thing. Other fun stuff as well is no one in the crew knows that Kirk is, because everyone thinks Kirk is dead on the Enterprise. Yes. And McCoy needs Scotty in on the job because they need to get the uniform from the Romulans they've got captured in the brig, and McCoy calls up to the bridge like, "Hey, Scotty, come down to the med bay." He's like, "Damn it, McCoy, I'm up here. I'm running the ship. The captain's not here. The captain's dead. I'm
I can't leave the bridge in time like this.
Yeah, this is important." And he's like, "Look, Scotty, just come, right? It's important, really." It's like, well, it better be. And he comes down, and the door opens, and he walks in, and he sees Kirk, and he just has this smile. He's like, "Captain, you look kind of funny, but I'm happy to see it."
Yeah.
It's got this weird thing where he's kind of shocked, but he's too happy that he's alive the entire time that he's just kind of going along with it. And he's like, "I'll need a uniform, Scotty. Go get one out the guys at the brig." And he's like, "Be a pleasure, sir." And as he walks out, he's just happy to have his captain back. It's just the whole thing was kind of amusing to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was nice.
So that's the whole thing. So the plan is to steal the mimic beacon, or not the mimic beacon. Sorry,
Cloaking.
I'm just laughing because that's something in XCOM.
I know. You got it on the bloody brain.
Apparently I do. Yeah, the cloaking tech, because they've got this fancy cloaking tech. They can't do anything about it, so they need to get it so they can, not just so they can use it, but so they can analyze it and figure out a way of combating it and making sure they can track them in some way. Because it's made very clear in this episode that they have no way of doing it. Even the other Romulans can't, counteract it once they use it in the Enterprise at the end. So they're stealing it, and that's the whole plan. So Spock's kind of distracting the commander while Kirk's sneaking around dressed as a Romulan and planting things in places and whatnot. But eventually like they detect like Spock's been in contact with the ship, and like, oh, there's been a broadcast signal from this room. It's the alien, and they realize Spock's been up to no good, and she's like, the cloaking tech. That's what they're here for. And then, it becomes a bit of an, action as they're all rushing to try and stop everything and whatnot. They beam back over, and it's like, okay, we have to. Again, it's a ticking time bomb. The Romulan ship's coming in. The commander's beamed across with Spock. Actually, she grabbed him.
Yeah, Kirk tries to use her as collateral. It's like, hey, don't shoot us. We got your captain, commander. And it's like, and she's like, nah, just shoot them anyway.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm not to die for this. Just shoot us. So she's her vendetta and wanting them not to get it outweighs her wanting to live.
She's like, nah, I'm not worth it. Just kill them. It's fine.
Yeah, but they get the tech on and they off they go. But there is a really sweet moment actually with the commander and Spock afterwards, because obviously throughout the episode there was a lot of scenes with them essentially flirting, as flirty as Spock can be.
Yeah.
Right. And again, it was very different for Spock, so it really played against his character a little bit, and it was very fun because of that. But at the end, they're in the elevator, and he's taking her down to the brig because now she's going to be, a war prisoner essentially, or whatever. At least for a while. And she even mentions, well, yeah, okay, right, so you've got the technology, but this stuff never stays secret for long. Like, eventually, everyone's going to have this tech. And he's like, yeah, but it's we've got it now. We've got that process moving. But there's kind of a sweet moment where they kind of acknowledge that, hey, just because I was doing a mission, like, doesn't mean all the feelings and all the chemistry was a lie, or that the temptation. Because she was like, oh, you should be a captain, you should be a ruler, you're a great Vulcan, you should be with us, change all this. Like, you're with Starfleet, but the universe is much bigger than that. You got Klingons, you got your Romulans, you got everyone else. You could be a part of all these different sectors, like, and you could be important there. Is it logical to stay with the humans when that's maybe not the place where you're going to flourish the most? And but yeah, it's kind of a thing where he's like, there was genuine feelings there to an extent, but
and even on top of that, there's a respect between her and Kirk as well. Like at the end, where she's like, "All right, well, I guess I'm a prisoner now. You kind of won this one," and she's like, "I'll just go down to the brig." And he makes a point of going, "Oh, take it to quarters." Like even though they both know they mean the brig, it's a very comfortable way of putting it, isn't it? It's like, all right, it's fine. We're not going to mistreat you. You can go and sit in a room.
Yeah, it's more of a room with a guard outside than it is an actual cell, if you will.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Even earlier on in the episode, when the Romulans have got Kirk and they're just blaming him, they're not blaming everyone else. So they're going to arrest Kirk. Everyone else are going to drop off at a station. They're like, okay, we'll take you to a station.
Yeah, they go, right, bring the Enterprise to the station. We'll transport you all home. The ship's ours. That's obviously that's how this goes. But you're all safe to go. We're not gonna. They're pretty reasonable.
Yeah, we'll contact Starfleet and they'll send for you or whatever. And
like all credits due, they're quite reasonable because obviously Kirk did break the treaty. He's the one that did. They're well within their rights to just blow them all up.
Is worth some conversation. Starfleet are being a bit sneaky here.
Well, that is how things go in a war, even a Cold War.
Well, that is a Cold War, yeah. That's why the neutral zone is basically
exactly
the Iron Curtain, essentially. I mean, if you compare it to real life things here, which is but it's interesting that they're being sticky here. But it is a lot like. I mean, you could argue that it just feels a little bit against Starfleet's ideals to be doing this.
You could. I think the point is again, it's like the idea of sometimes you've got to do even the dirtier things, especially when it's a situation where no one's really actually getting hurt or no one's supposed to be getting hurt directly. They're not going in and blowing people up and bombing everything. They're just going for the secrets, essentially.
Yeah, they're making sure they're on a level playing field, especially since this is not just for the Romulans, this is also for the Klingons, because this is Klingon tech.
Yeah.
So the Klingons have got it as well. So, they're just doing this. And that was the other thing I liked about it as well. I think a lot of the big staples of Star Trek, the ideas that keep coming back, things like Klingons, Romulans, Vulcan, the neutral zone, all this stuff, like, I feel like most of the episodes that have dealt with these ideas have typically felt like they are important in the first place. Like, because I think it would be very easy to go back to the original show, and obviously we've heard of Klingons for years, and we've heard of Romulans for years. It'd be very easy for the original episodes to just feel like they're kind of worthless. Oh, that was the one cool idea in the episode. The rest of the episode's actually kind of forgettable, but it introduced the Romulans. And that's not true. Like,
no, it's more a case of those things came back because they were in a really solid episode that did interesting things with it, or that set up an idea.
Especially the Romulans. I think the Klingons are a bit more
Yeah, a bit more
miss.
flexible. Yeah.
Their first episode, I mean, I think they were mentioned before and we had the idea of the Klingons. I think that's maybe why they endured a bit, is because it was the idea of the Klingon, almost as if they were a boogeyman in this,
Yeah.
in space. Once we actually got them, the episode was okay, but it wasn't the greatest episode in season 1. Whereas that first Romulan episode, when it was like the submarine combat,
No, it was a really good episode.
that was a great episode. So, and then this one was a pretty solid follow up to that. Not as good, but
No, it's a really good episode, definitely.
so
Something I really noticed as well is the actual camera movement in the space section. Like usually when when we're doing the exterior shots of the ship, the camera's just static and the ship just moves across the screen. We actually had the camera pan across in like the chase sequences in this. I thought it had a real sense of momentum.
obviously you're just talking about this show specifically. Obviously the later shows all have.
Yeah. I was saying just for this
Yeah.
show, like obviously it felt like a step up. Before, as much as season 3 obviously has its faults, this felt like something that got improved with the third season compared to before.
I think I heard some new music as well, because obviously, basically for the Star Trek, they basically recorded a bit of new music for like the start of season 2, so there was a bit of new things. But again, much like the rest of the cues that are still getting used, they're just reusing the same cues all season. I noticed in these first couple of episodes there was maybe a couple of new little bits that weren't there before.
Yeah, I caught a few, and I'm sure we'll get sick of them by the end, perhaps. But,
Honestly, if anything, it's kind of the opposite, where I'm like, I'm not sick of the new ones. I'm just kind of like, oh, that doesn't feel right. Give me the old one back. They would have played at this moment.
yeah,
in
because we're not
season
used
1.
to them yet.
Yeah, because in season 1 there was like the 3 or 4 cues that I were used to playing depending on the emotion of the scene, and it's kind of weird to me. Even like, into late season 2 when it'd play one of the season 2 cues that weren't in season 1, I'd be like, nah, you'd have been better with the season 1 cue for this moment.
I think the problem is you get so used to them that you just like them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, something I noticed so far this season, there's a lot of Sulu and Chekhov together.
Yeah, well, I think, because obviously Sulu Takai was busy doing something for a lot of the season, whereas now we've actually got the whole crew together.
It just seems strange. I think we had it a couple of times towards the end of season 2.
Yeah, just a few, but I think what's interesting about it is that the only season where presumably all the main members we think of as the Star Trek crew or the original series are together on the same episodes as season 3. Like season 1, like there'd be like episodes where all half of them are missing, and then season 2 Sulu was missing for a lot of it, but it was typically Sulu or Chekhov. Like there wasn't.
Yeah, Sulu, Chekhov, and then Uhura kind of in and out.
It's typically there in the behind Kirk at least. Scotty's essentially the fourth main one, so he's typically around.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he's always the acting captain.
Yeah, when Spock and Kirk are off the
doing
ship.
shenanigans.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously every time I mention it, I just have to make one dig at the fact that the captain always goes on the missions. not some grunts who are there for that.
Kirk likes his shenanigans.
He does, but no, I think the reason why it's funny though is because it's not just Kirk though; it's every captain in Star Trek.
It is.
It's not like Picard. It is not going to be going on the things. Maybe not as much as Kirk. I don't know. We'll find out when we get next gen.
They all want a chance to prove how good they are at seducing.
Is there a lot of Picard seducing in next gen? I don't think.
I don't know. I don't know, but
If anything, I thought Riker would be the one putting the moves on.
Probably. I'm just saying. They might not always be good at it, but they want a chance just to show. Look, I can get in on this.
If I recall correctly, Jonathan Frakes did a Playgirl issue at one point. Maybe that's trivia that I'm remembering about someone else, but I feel like that was him.
I'll take your word for it.
So,
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I've never heard that before, but it doesn't mean it's not true.
Are we done then? Is that
I think we are. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a pretty solid episode. It was nice to come back to a big, main part of the Star Trek mythology. It felt like it was doing some fun stuff with the characters.
Yeah, it is a little bittersweet that this feels like this might be the high point of the season.
I think there's another few episodes that may, because I don't think it's necessarily that the whole season's bad. It's just that the concentration of bad to good is a lot higher this season. So I would maybe expect we're going to have a few in a row now of rough, but Maybe it was worth it. I just hope the good ones. I hope they're just evenly dispersed, so that it's not a streak of like 10 bad episodes now.
If we get like 3 in a row of good ones here, I'm gonna be worried.
Well, yeah, because we know that the general reception of the season is typically, it's easily the worst one. And if that's the case after 3 episodes that are good in a row, then I'm going to worry about how many bad in a row we're getting after that.
Yeah.
But hey,
this might be the one time ever where we're like, please don't be a good episode next.
Yeah, because we want them to be evenly dispersed. Yeah, but we'll find out next week. So that is the Enterprise incident. So by all means, let us know what you think of this one in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv. You can do that over there. There's a link in the description. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again. We all appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. We'll see you next time.